Shabbat Shalom and welcome to Israel Update. I have Doobie joining me from Jerusalem. Doobs, Shabbat Shalom. Thank you so much for joining me.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for having me, Christy.
Now, Doobs, obviously there's so much going on. Just in the past couple of days, yet again, we've seen, I've obviously got the Red Alert app. I've been texting with you. And again, we've seen things going crazy all over Israel. From your perspective, and I know that we spoke about this a little bit on the show with Donna on Wednesday, but I wanted to dig a little bit deeper for the people who are watching us who really care about Israel, really support Israel. I've seen a lot of these sort of video footages of people that are just with their children, living their normal lives, and then sirens go off. Talk to us what that's like, what it was like, because obviously it happened for you too, when the Houthis were launching missiles towards Israel, and obviously one of them hit. Talk to us about what that's actually like as an Israeli, what it's like knowing that your grandchildren, your children are dealing with it.
The thing is that with the rockets, the missiles that are launched by the Houthis, it is another dimension. It's a game changer because when they used to launch the rockets, the missiles from Gaza or even from Lebanon, it was actually aimed towards more limited areas. I mean, when the LED detectors the radars will literally detect the missile, the rocket, they will be able to draw like narrower boundaries for where the sirens goes off. But once they launch it from Yemen, from so far, anything is possible. So every time there's a rocket flying from Yemen, between 2 to 3 million Israelis has to run to the bomb shelters. So even though eventually this one was hitting at the airport, which is terrible, we're going to speak about that, people from, I would say, a perimeter of 50 miles, like a 50 miles radius, will have to run into the bomb shelters. It means families, children, elders, people that sometimes have like 30 seconds, sometimes have like a minute. And a lot of people are even getting injured just because of the panic and the fact that they need to stop everything that they're doing at this very moment and run and find some shelter. Some of them are elder people, some of them are with kids. So there's a lot of drama around this situation.
Yes, and like you're saying, Doobs, I think it's difficult sometimes for people to picture it because we hear, oh, rockets are falling, oh, this has happened. But like you're saying, the area of potential chaos and destruction is so much wider when it's coming from a place like Yemen. And obviously the shocking thing that we saw happen this past week is that an area near the airport got hit. And that was pretty shocking just because, obviously it was a failed interception. Thank God nothing crazy happened. Obviously, we're very grateful for that, which is one of the reasons we pray. We consistently praying, trusting God for his intervention. But Doobs, I know that, that obviously occurred, but talk to me about what happened to the airport in Yemen after they decided to mess around a little bit with Israel.
Yeah, but before we get there, and it's always a little bit sweeter if you can say that we are retaliating and
Yes.
take revenge in a way. But I want you to know that you are definitely right when you say nothing serious happened in terms of lives.
Yes.
People weren't killed.
Yes, that's what I mean. There wasn't a loss.
In Hebrew, the language is so incredible, and
Yes.
and blood in Hebrew means dam, and also money means damim.
Yes.
It's the same word. And the thing is that yes, people didn't die, but the damage is huge financially, and people are and when you have no money and you have no income and you have no food on your table, you can even die.
Yes.
And the economy is hit badly. I'm going to give you a personal example. After 1.5 years of the war in Gaza, as you know that I'm also a tour guide. My last guiding was actually on October 7th, 2023. And this was my last group. And now, finally, after more than 1.5 years, I'm supposed to start a group on May 19th. They're supposed to leave the US from Alabama on May 18th with Delta Airlines. Delta just announced that they're not going to fly to Israel at least until the 19th, which means that this group is not going to come. And this is only me. What about all the tourism industry? What about business people that were planning to come here for the high-tech industry, to invest in Israel? What about families? I'm talking about a huge damage to our economy. The fact that the airport is paralyzed even for a few hours, and over 29 airlines already announced that they're not going to fly into Israel. Some major American airlines said that they might postpone their flights to Israel even until the summer, and people already purchased and bought their tickets. I'm telling you, this is like the summertime in Israel.
Yes, it's
July,
the time.
August. It's a huge season. Jewish
Yes.
people have their summer, and Christians have their summer vacations. They're planning finally, until things kind of relaxed a little bit. They were planning to come to Israel. We started to see some beginning of tourism, and it's not happening. Some beginning of investments, and now people are just pulling back. That's a situation
Yes.
that people almost don't speak about, but it's terrible. It's paralyzing.
Yes.
It's crippling the economy. And plus, every rocket like this that comes into Israel, excuse me, maybe it costs the enemy about $5,000, $6,000, $10,000 to launch it. The interceptors cost more than $500,000 each. So this is even another damage. They already launched 27 of these. 26 were intercepted.
Yes.
But one really, really made a huge damage, far beyond the physical one that you see in the infrastructure. It's economy.
Yes.
It's psychology. It's altogether what Israel is being, it's facing from people that were even thinking to come, and now they've canceled.
The point that you're making there, Doobs, is an excellent one, because this is the reality. Like, even for me, I think, oh, well, thank God no lives were lost. But like you're saying, you studied, you went to school to be a tour guide after all the other things you did, and now you're suffering. You've been suffering for years now, where tours have just been stopping, and like you're saying now, these planes are saying they're not going to go in. So you're correct. The weight of this is enormous, and the impact of it is enormous. And even what you're saying, maybe it costs the enemy maybe $10,000 to launch, one of these attacks, but it's costing hundreds of thousands of dollars to stop them. So every single time that happens, yes, thank God lives are being saved, but Israel's economy is just being smashed. It's being pulverized. It's being pummeled. And then on top of all of that, when Israel does do the right thing and retaliates, like what happened with Yemen, people start accusing Israel of being the aggressor, which we know is insane. And that's one of the reasons we do this show, to speak about it. But that is something for everybody to be aware of. Pray, trust God, and also pray for Doobie specifically. His family, they need support. They need a lot of things. And it's the reality is that his industry has been crippled. So there he sits with all this knowledge that, thank God, he shares with us.
It's not only that. Yes, the Ben Gurion Airport is a major entry into Israel, but also think about the Red Sea. I mean, there is a seaport in Eilat, which, our oil, our petrol, gasoline, all these things that Israel needs for our economy used to come through there. And now they put siege over the Red Sea, and almost no trade is coming into the Red Sea towards Israel. So they have to go all the way around, Africa, and enter from Gibraltar into the Mediterranean Sea. 3 more weeks for the ships to be at sea. You know how much money it is for the economy? All these things people seems to neglect, but you're talking about billions and billions of dollars that are lost and literally crippling the economy.
It's such a good point to talk about, Doobs, because you're right. It's not something anybody's talking about. It's not something I'm hearing spoken about, but it is so important. But quickly, Doobs, before we wrap up for today's show, talk to us about what happened militarily when Israel did retaliate regarding Yemen and what you think the impact of that is going to be.
Well, first and foremost, people are seeing the capacity and the ability of Israel to strike as far as 2,000 kilometers away from here. And obviously, Iran is watching. And Iran is also seeing that Israel is so accurate, so precise. If we want to hit the airport, we hit the airport. If we want to hit their gas industry, we hit their gas industry. And the intelligence that we have about the enemies of Israel, not only in Yemen, but also in Iran, this is probably something that they're thinking about and they're talking about. And I think that there is some kind of intimidation and some kinds of threat also for other enemies of Israel to be aware of the long hand of Israel once we need to retaliate against our enemies. So it gives them something to think about and maybe some kind of deterrent for the future.
Absolutely. And so for everybody out there, again, thank you for joining us. If you missed Wednesday, go back and watch that at houseofdestiny.tv. Doobie joined myself and Donna as we spoke about this and some of Kim's prophecies, so don't miss out on that. If you did, go back and watch. But we want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. And as you go out this week, pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Pray for Doobie, pray for his family, pray for supernatural provision. This is somebody who is our family, who himself is struggling as a result of what is going on, this horrific situation that Israel's been facing for such a long time. But we say thank you, Shabbat Shalom, God bless you, and we'll see you next week.
Hello, friends. I'm Donna Clement Petrushka, and I am honored to invite you to something truly extraordinary, the Kim Clement Prophecy Vault. Now you can gain unprecedented access to my father's entire digitized video archive. Every prophetic moment, every powerful teaching, every anointed worship session is now available to you in the Prophecy Vault. Plus, I'm excited to share that my dad's special School of the Prophets teachings are included, offering you deep, transformative lessons on hearing God's voice and understanding his revelations. Your partnership is crucial. Not only will you gain access to these incredible resources, but you'll also help us continue the vital work of preserving, digitizing, and adding new Kim Clement material to the archives. I'm inviting you to step into the Kim Clement Prophecy Vault. Let's embark on this journey of revelation together, and I can't wait to see you inside.
I just see these different personalities, and since the Tower of Babel, God did a pretty good job of confusing us. Now we're trying to get back to, not Babel, but the unity in the Spirit, so we can love each other and walk together.
With my family, I can use my family as maybe the best example. And I'm talking about my extended family, like cousins and people like that. They seem to find me sometimes a little bit strange because I don't follow the norm of what the family feels like that we should follow.
I sometimes think that we ask why people don't understand us, but we don't even understand us. Watch now at real-faith.tv.
You're still looking good.
I'm still feeling good. I've got all your MyPillow products. Mattress topper, bed sheets, MyPillows, towels, slippers, blankets.
I'm interrupting this commercial to do something I've never done before. Get 2 MyPillows absolutely free on orders of $100 or more. I can't do this forever, so get on board with this great sale today. Our best-selling 6-piece bath towel sets or kitchen towel sets, just $29.98. Our famous standard MyPillows, only $14.98. Queens, $18.98. King size, only $1 more. Body pillows, $29.98. Multi-use MyPillow 2.0s with pillowcase, $9.98. Save $40 on our Spring Percale and Giza Dream bed sheet sets. Any size, any color. So go to MyPillow.com or call that number on your screen. Use your promo code to save up to 80% on all MyPillow products. And when you spend $100 or more, get 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free.
We here at the House of Destiny are partnering with you to let our viewers, of course, know about your company. It's Beverly Hills Precious Metal.
Andrew, explain how that works.
So I'll walk you through it right now. So if you go to bh-pm.com, right there on the homepage, you'll see a form that you could fill out. And that form is very important in letting us know how we can help you. So you just put in your first name, last name, email address, phone number. There's a section that says, how did you hear about us? And in there, put Kim Clement. And then there's a portion where you could write a couple of notes down on the bottom. Usually within about 24 to 48 hours, we'll contact you by phone call, and then we'll go over everything with you. This isn't a high pressure deal. We always recommend that if you feel uncomfortable, take a step back, pray about it. You will gain the answers that you need by doing that, and come back to us when you're comfortable.